Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Ken Shreve here with a breakdown of the action in today's session, which was somewhat muted compared with yesterday's brutal action, Ken. But as always, we've got a couple of names on our radar that are holding up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ali, it was looking like a weak close again, but buyers come into the market during the final hour of trading, and we managed a pretty good close. So let's take a look on day that saw natural gas up at last check about 9% on the day. We'll take a look at Flex LNG, the ticker FLNG there, and Comstock Resources, another strong day for the oil and gas producers. And finally, in the chip sector, Wolfspeed, formerly known as CRK, showing good action.
All right, a couple of stocks we'll analyze in detail, but first, let's take a look at the major indexes. As Ken mentioned, buyers coming into the market into the close, but a look at the action today. We saw the Nasdaq up about 0.75% by session's close, the strongest of the major indexes today, followed by the S&P 500 up about 0.3%. The Russell 2000 up 0.2% today, and the Dow up just 0.1%. A lot of ground to make up just from yesterday's declines, but it could have been worse today. Ken, usually when we see big down days like that, at the very least, an increase of volatility, but the expectation would have been further weakness. So might we be able to hold the recent lows that we're seeing?
Well, definitely still too early to tell. I mean, it was a pretty ugly sell-off for the market on Tuesday. And just looking at this NASDAQ chart, you can see the volume that came behind yesterday's more than 5% decline for the NASDAQ. So it's a kind of a tough volume comparison from yesterday. At last check, NASDAQ volume was tracking pretty close to what we saw yesterday. So it was good to see the index rally late because, like I said, with about a half an hour, maybe 35, 40 minutes left to go in the market, indexes, the NASDAQ's 1% intraday gain had turned negative. But a nice pop into the close here. So there you see it. Yeah, reasons to be optimistic. But I think the market still, after yesterday's decline, is going to have more work ahead before it's going to be able to resume its uptrend.
Absolutely. And on the downside, the level that we're looking at least this low right here from the 6th of September, it seems like that's an area roughly that we would want to see the market hold above.
Yeah, I don't think it would be good news for stock market bulls to see index undercut that September 6th low. So we'll see if we can hold above it. We still have 2 more days in the trading week. So encouraged by some late session buying today, and seeing a lot of strength in the energy sector. So all those stocks, oil and gas stocks, outperform again today. So we're not like we're seeing a bunch of sell signals and really damaged stock charts out there. Still seeing some compelling stocks making good moves.
Right. Yeah. It seems like the stuff that's been working is continuing to work, at least right now.
Yeah.
All right. And moving on, let's take a look at the S&P 500 to check out some levels there. Still below 4,000 after the big move below that level in yesterday's session, but holding above its short-term lows as well. Let's also take a quick look at the Dow, and a similar story here, turned away big time right at that round number of 32,000 in the 50-day line. This index, so it did close slightly in the green, but intraday undercutting its recent lows, Ken.
Yeah. So that's really the only index that was not able to hold above that September 6th low. So obviously a sharp decline for the Dow yesterday. But like you mentioned, you can see what it looked like late in the session, but it managed to eke out a gain of 0.1%. So not much, but a pretty good close with the other stock indexes.
Yeah, we'll take it. And here's a look at the Russell 2000 reversing higher today. Not too far below its 50-day line and still holding above its September 6th low. And let's also take a look. You mentioned at natural gas today being the standout. So here is the XLE ETF up 2.8%. So outpacing the broad market big time today. And we do have big weightings in this ETF of Chevron and Exxon, but a lot of stocks in this sector look like this. If you're forming the right side of a cup with handle base, some getting above short-term highs, and potentially actionable.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing a lot of technical setups like XLE, throughout the oil and gas sector, particularly among the oil and gas producers, where you tend to see some of the biggest growth, at least from a fundamental perspective. So XLE still showing good relative strength in the market, and I know we're gonna start by talking about a natural gas stock to just take advantage of this strength in the energy sector.
Yes, this theme, are we going to see resurgence in a lot of these stocks like we saw in the first half of the year? Energy sector really dominating. These are later stage bases now, but we'll have to see if there's more gas in the tank or room left to run. Just to set the scene here before we take a look at Flex LNG, here's a visual representation of natural gas today with the UNG ETF, which had a gain of 8%. So FLNG in this theme here up over 6% today. Some strong volume. Did have a gap down to its 50-day line not too long ago, but was able to find support there, and a big move today, Ken.
Yeah, definitely, and I particularly like the look of the weekly chart here. You can see a strong daily performance for the stock, but I do like the support at the 10-week moving average here. So to me, this stock still looks like it's actionable. Got a lot of natural gas stocks that look a little too far extended at this point to buy, but just like how FLNG came down to its 10-week moving average last week. Closed nicely off its weekly low, and it's extending gains so far this week. But at last check, it was only about maybe 5% or so above that 10-week moving average. So this looks like a solid first test to me, and does not really look like an extended stock, because after a stock clears a consolidation like Flex LNG did, sometimes it'll come down to that 10-week moving average and find support, and that's really exactly what FLNG did. So stock still looks actionable to me, with a really healthy relative strength line showing that it's outperforming the S&P 500 nicely.
Yeah, some compelling action there. And let's also take a look at CRK. This is another ticker that we covered on IB Live this morning. On pace for a gain of over 13% this week. Looks like volume is above average. I'll flip on over to a daily chart here for us. Looks like it cleared a handle type structure here. This base did correct quite a bit, 22 down to 11. So, more than 50% or roughly correction, but it has been tightening up here. So a little handle type structure, one could argue that this has cleared.
Yeah, a lot of the oil and gas producers closed off highs. Comstock was not the only one to kind of fade after or to fade off highs, and you can see some of the selling never really got intense. So it closed pretty close to a 21-28 buy point, just a little bit below it here. So you see volume today was pretty heavy. So when a stock breaks out in heavy volume, you want to see it at least close in the top half of its intraday range. It looks like CRK was able to do that. So maybe some profit taking in this stock, which is why it closed off highs. But this one still, I think, has a chance to work. It's not a perfect technical setup for the main reason that you outlined. It was a pretty, sharp pullback from $22 down to that $10 level, but showed, pretty good signs of accumulation as it worked its way higher. Formed a decent handle that last shakeout near the 21-day moving average. So, solid name in the E&P group. You can see nice big estimates, and you can see the fundamentals really match up here. So strong fundamentals, strong technicals. One of the better looking names in the group, in my view.
And, I think this is something that is worth touching on here, Ken, even though we talked about it this morning on IBD Live. And for those who didn't join us this morning, and that is to put these potentially actionable stocks in the context of where we're at in this market. It's not like we are in a 2020 type market. It's been a tough market most of the year, with the exception of many of these energy names. But at this point, is it okay to be adding exposure in these stocks, clearly showing market outperformance, even though we have this very cloudy or stormy market backdrop?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It was definitely a talking point this morning on IBD Live, and people saying, "Well, you're talking about all this market risk, and we had a 5% decline in the Nasdaq yesterday, the worst performance for the indexes in more than 2 years. Why are you talking about stocks to buy?" And so, really, right now, most of the bullish technical setups are in the oil and gas space, and we are seeing money move into this sector. So I think it's okay. We've been talking about having a pretty heavy cash position in this market, and so if you're 30% in the market or 40% in the market, there's nothing wrong with taking a few little pilot buys. We consider a kind of a small starter position to be about 2.5% of your portfolio. So just nibbling at some stocks and to see if they work. But it's really just about looking at stocks that are showing signs of accumulation. Seeing a lot of that right now in the oil and gas sector.
That we are. And let's round things out with a look at Wolfspeed, WOLF, the ticker here, with a gain of 3.8% today. Volume slightly below average, but a strong gap up on the last quarterly earnings report that was accompanied by very heavy volume. And Ken, it looks to me like this 120 to 125 area could be a key resistance area for the stock.
Yeah, I mean, listen, tech stocks. It's difficult to find bullish charts in the tech sector right now. So when you see one like Wolfspeed, I think it's worth paying attention to. Now, this is another stock. It corrected from 142 all the way down to that 60 level. But this company's earnings report several weeks ago really turned a lot of heads. You can see that really powerful gap up over the 100 level. Wolfspeed has got a lot of new going on. Silicon has been the most popular chip making ingredient, so to speak. But Wolfspeed is really making a lot of noise with their silicon carbide chips and also gallium nitride. The silicon carbide are very ubiquitous in EVs, the EV market. So they've got good growth there. You can see a huge estimate for the company's fiscal 2024, and that acceleration in revenue. When they last reported earnings just a few weeks ago, revenue up 57%. CEO had a lot of bullish things to say about demand, and they're based in North Carolina. And earlier this month, they announced plans are going to be building a big silicon carbide manufacturing facility in North Carolina. So lots of new going on here, and it seems like these companies' chips are seeing very strong demand, and that demand should continue going forward.
Yeah, just a quick aside, in North Carolina, not only do you have the silicon carbide business apparently, but also lithium mining, big in North Carolina as well. So yeah,
lots of companies headed to North Carolina these days.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was gonna say, who knows? Maybe in my backyard, I'm sitting on some, I don't know, some lithium, or I don't know. I'll have to see about that. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on this 120 level. Pretty interesting that if you go to the weekly chart and draw the line back, it seems like a key level to be keeping tabs on. But no doubt the fundamentals here improving, and good to see more growthy names on our radar, because it's been so long since we've seen that. But can they continue to hold up? I mean, we were seeing semis as a bright spot a number of weeks ago, but that was very short-lived. So can we get more leadership out of that area? Seems like that's the question right now.
Yeah, it is. It's an important question, but I think just with Wolfspeed, identifying something new going on in a company that's driving earnings and sales, and I mean, honestly, the work, the reading and work I've done in the early stages on Wolfspeed, they clearly have this new, the N in CAN Slim. So sort of a new way of looking at chip making as silicon carbide and gallium nitride. Enjoy good growth prospects. So like the setup here, and it'll need a good market. It'll need new institutional money coming in from the sidelines to fuel a good upside breakout here. But like the fundamentals here, and it was a pretty bullish conference call when they last reported earnings.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all of the color there, Ken. We really appreciate it. And thanks everyone for tuning in. We will be back with more tomorrow morning on IBD Live. So we definitely hope you join us for our daily morning live stream where our team is breaking down actionable trade ideas in real time. Also talking about our take on market conditions, portfolio management strategies, and so much more. So don't miss it. We're also sharing our favorite MarketSmith tips and tricks and features. It is MarketSmith Free Access Week. So we hope you check out investors.com/MS Free Access for a look at all of the screening capabilities and really taking your portfolio into your own hands. That's what MarketSmith enables you to do. Ken, I know you're a fan.
Yeah. We went sort of how we use MarketSmith on IBD Live this morning. We all have our own routines with it, but and we've been using these charts long enough on the Stock Market Today video, so people are familiar with it. But just a great way to do all your fundamental and technical research in one place. There's really not many products out there at all like that.
All right. Yes. So thank you, Ken. We'll be talking about that more on IBD Live tomorrow. So check it out, investors.com/IBD Live. We'll see you there in the morning. We'll also see you right back here tomorrow at the close.